This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. In news from court today, a former Royal Bank of Canada employee was arraigned on 80 fraud-related charges, dating back to 2008. 67-year-old Irma Mitchell was escorted into the courthouse by officers to stand before Magistrate Ambrose Ambrister to answer to the following: fraud under false pretense, forgery, altering forged documents, and falsification of accounts. Now the facts are between April 2008 to December 2009, Mitchell was accused of stealing by reason of employment over some $350,000 while employed at the RBC John F. Kennedy Drive branch. While as personal finance service officer, Mitchell pled not guilty to all charges. Bail was not granted. However, the defendant, attorney Jerome Mangra, told the court they are in the process of applying for bail in the Supreme Court. The trial date is set for May 25th next year. With mega resorts such as Atlantis reopening its doors to guests and its employees this past Thursday, with Bahamar set to reopen its doors on the 17th of this month in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis is calling on the government to have a proper plan in place to prevent the country experiencing a third wave of COVID-19 as the United States continues to see a raise in coronavirus cases. And that's where most international tourists come from. Mr. Davis says the government must be careful that the opening is done wisely and that proper protocols are in place, not just to protect visitors, but also Bahamians employed in the tourism industry. Now, with the U.S. rolling out the first doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine today, and with Health Minister Renwood Wells revealing that the government has already paid a down payment of $250,000 for 80,000 doses of whatever vaccine is approved, when asked by reporters his position on the Bahamas accessing a COVID-19 vaccine, Mr. Davis says this.
Well, we welcome the vaccine, and we just trust that its efficacy and its reliability is as is being said. We do note that there was a challenge with two persons who have had the vaccine in the United Kingdom. That is being assessed to see what that means, and whether it is something to do with the person's own metabolism, own sort of DNA makeup in respect to allergies, etc., to determine whether or not, to what extent that impacts the viability of the vaccine. But we need to have an answer for the virus. Vaccine seems to be it, so we need to appreciate that we need to embrace the vaccine and understand what it means.
Mr. Davis says the government must ensure that they do it wisely when it comes to a vaccine for the country. Minister Wells recently noted that the government is currently in direct negotiations with several international pharmaceutical companies, including Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, who have produced COVID-19 vaccines. Police here on New Providence searching for the mother of an approximately 4-day-old child found on Saturday morning by construction workers in an abandoned house at the rear of the Church of the Nazarene on East Street. Police say the baby, a little boy, was found with umbilical cord still attached. Shortly after 11 a.m., the infant was taken to hospital for medical attention. The Department of Social Services, in response, says the child is said to be resting comfortably in the children's ward at the Princess Margaret Hospital and is advising that the incident may not be connected to the COVID-19 pandemic because similar incidents have happened before, and is also advising pregnant women, their relatives, or friends are advised that there is assistance available through the Department of Social Services hotlines 322-2763 or 422-2763. The service is provided free of charge. The Department of Social Services, along with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, requesting the assistance of the public in locating the infant's mother so as to ensure that she receives the requisite medical care. And Rotary Bahamas is once again lending a helping hand to those islands affected by Hurricane Dorian last year. With the details, we go to Argerino Saunders.
Building a home for you and your family is a dream that many Bahamians strive towards. But the unfortunate reality is that there are some things, like nature, that we absolutely cannot control. And in September of 2019, many residents of Abaco and Grand Bahama saw their homes literally washed away in the devastation of Hurricane Dorian. In Abaco, a year after the hurricane, many are still trying to recover and get back into their homes, but it has been a struggle. The Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas has several projects taking place, but none more important than the Abaco Home Repairs Project, helping hurricane survivors get back into their homes. We located some of those homeowners that have received assistance to get their views on what the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas has been doing through their Home Repairs Project.
Lord, how do I get my house fixed? I need my house fixed because I want to come home. And when I said that, Mr. Ken Strawn and his team walked in. And he said, how you doing? I said, not too good, but thank God for life. And I said to him, I just prayed and said, Lord, I need help for my house. And he showed up and he said that they will help me with my home.
With all the NGOs and particularly Rotary, I'm very grateful for Mr. Strawn and the organization, Rotary. I reach out to him and being a law enforcement officer and him also being a law enforcement officer, we connected. And tell you the truth, I'm thankful that Rotary came through and helped myself and my family and other members in the community to help us rebuild. We're grateful.
Rotary is currently working on 11 homes, with repairs already completed to 30 homes and approximately 150 Abaconians back into their own dwellings. The Home Repairs Project also helps the economy by creating much-needed job opportunities in construction. Taking a break from working on one of those homes, building contractor George Spider Stewart talked about the opportunities for work and to help rebuild his community.
Well, me being a contractor, I was willing to help people get back in their home because a lot of people in Nassau still don't have a place to live. I was happy to do it because a lot of people still sleeping in cars. So this house here, I do all the rock sheets, the frames, the doors and locks and just about everything.
There are many homes where the walls may be standing, but the interior is totally gutted from flooding. Abaco's Sheena McIntosh also lost her home and family members in the hurricane, but she has offered to work with Rotary, helping others to get back on their feet. She told us how Abaconians can register for assistance with home repairs.
As I mentioned initially, it was word of mouth. It was through other Rotarians who knew the system was happening, and they kindly passed on emails or contacts. Reverend Carey pretty much acted as the face on the ground. Everyone heard, they would go to him, they would ask him. And I know that once you became connected to it, persons would stop and ask. However, the system had the forms. The form is now set up where we have websites, we have direct links, and we are establishing still word of mouth, but the website and cards that will allow people to access this.
According to Rotary, there is no set timeline for the project to end because they realize there is still a long road back to full recovery. Rotary once again thanks all of its sponsors, volunteers, and supporters that make it all happen. Jurino Saunders, JCN News.
You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.